Hey everyone, welcome to Star Dynasties. I'm DisturbingPuppet. So this is a game that I fired up not too long ago. It's sort of Crusader Kings in space. And I've never played Crusader Kings, but I have watched videos on it and look kind of interesting. And this looked interesting too, and I picked it up a while back and just kind of felt like playing a strategy game. So I've been playing this for a while. And unfortunately, we're going to have to start a new game. Well, I guess fortunate for you, unfortunate for me. So I started doing the tutorial, finished the tutorial, and then it's like, hey, do you want to keep playing? So I did. And that's where I'm at here. So I started off as just one vassal of a larger faction. I then became independent. I then took over the faction, so I'm the Goodman Kingdom here. So if we zoom out, you can see that I have control of, I don't know, maybe like a third of the galaxy. No, a quarter, probably. A little under a quarter. 20%, something like that. And I've expanded my influence. I have my own vassals, so my main core empire is here. I've got Coalition, the Quadrant, sort of my uncle took over this area. We've got the Hearst Guild, the Brennan Dominion, all of this stuff under our control, sort of spreading. I've taken over some other groups and going strong, but I'm nowhere near winning this one, and I'm not getting achievements for some reason. And I think that's because I continued from the sort of tutorial start. I'm guessing that's why. I don't know for sure that that's why I'm not getting, but there's some like, put people on your council, and like I still haven't even gotten that. So it's got to be because of that, I'm assuming. So even though things are going relatively well, they have sort of stalled out here for a while, and this is probably like 15 to 18 hours into the game. I'm kind of at this point. And I'm maybe halfway to winning. Kind of thing. You have to take over like half the galaxy. I think there's some kind of tech way you can win as well, but I haven't gotten to that. So what I'm going to do is start a new game, which lets me start up my own family and pick some characteristics and things to start with. I'm not sure how in depth that is. Hopefully we can pick some names, get some starting abilities, that kind of stuff, and we'll go from there. So I just kind of wanted to show this to sort of see how things are progressing in that initial one. So we're going to do a new game. We're going to go on medium. I think we'll do that. That might be dangerous. I do have the DLC, so we'll go ahead and go with that. So custom lets me pick a bunch of different things, letting you roleplay more. Yeah, I think we'll kind of stick with whatever we have here. So let's go with new start. So for our house, I'm thinking that we are House Dracul, because that's just neat. And then we will be the Dracul Dominion, as one would expect. I'm not sure if I want to use a C or a K there for the cool in Dracul. But yes, the Dracul Dominion sounds awesome. Secession, so oldest child, doesn't matter. And then we could just go random here and see what we get. I kind of want to see what our options are. There were a variety of interesting ones that I've seen with the different factions. If we have an option, I kind of want to be a bit more militaristic and tech. This was kind of the one I had before with the Goodman. I do like that. It's very nice. This is always kind of interesting. It's like an elder sign from Lovecraft, which is kind of cool. That's a bit more militaristic as well. That's nice. Anything else of particular interest? The Iron Cross. Another Iron Cross variant, the Laurel. That's kind of cool. These are interesting. I like that. Just kind of looking at the options here. We've got Chaos. We can be Chaos. Got the basic star. This is like the old EA logo. Back on the Commodore, they had it was, yeah, Electronic Arts. They would like, as things were loading, it would like load different colors. It was very, very similar to this. Just a big round circle with lines. It would load different colors in the lines. It's kind of weird. That's interesting. Sort of a chaosy eye sort of thing. Yeah, what do we want? I'm kind of leaning towards, I think, the more militaristic eagle that we saw. Although the laurel's cool, that's kind of neat. The elder sign is also pretty cool. Yeah, let's go with the eagle there. And for our color, well, we're kind of militaristic, so the red fits. Although that kind of makes things a little hard to see, like who we're at war with at times, because it sort of highlights things in red. Really dark green is kind of interesting. There's a lot of greens for some reason. The nice blue is also pretty cool. Yeah, let's go with a blue. I passed it already. I think I did. Yeah, I think that's probably my best option. So this blue here, take like that. I don't know what this is. So this would just randomize. So we have points. We've got 90 points for family customization, it looks like. So we can take some things to give us points, it looks like. Home system, poor infrastructure. So that would give us additional points. Great infrastructure. That's pretty useful, actually. So we've got 90, so we can do stuff for our home system. But your home system is really the main thing that's going to impact you as you advance, because you don't really get that much benefit from territories that you're not directly controlling. There's a variety of different home system stuff, and then we've got house stuff. So this is just straight flat 20% more income. That's pretty great. Fertility ritual. Pacifists. We're definitely not pacifists. How many options are there here? Tactical traditions, extra fleet strength, historical act of altruism, some reputation, cruelty, cyberdyne. Huh. So it's like a Terminator part that we hook up to our military. Probably not a great idea. Diplomats in the blood. Lack of discipline, trained staff. Upstart Duke. Your dynasty has recently seized control of your faction and are not considered its legitimate rulers. That could make things tough early on, that's for sure. So actually, I think we have 0 points at the moment. I don't think we can spend 90. There's not enough here to spend 90 on. Well, maybe there is. I'm not sure. So if we do great infrastructure, family customization points 90. I don't know what this is exactly. This number of points you are allocating towards customizing your family. You can sacrifice some of these points to get more house bonuses, or more house points than you can spend on traits for your house. Generally, you can spend some of your house points to get more family customization points. Yeah, we've got like house points available 3. What? Did I have that before I selected that? If I unselect that, does it say? Okay, we've got 5 points. All right, I was looking at here like, wait, what is this? 90 something. Okay, so we do have to be a bit careful. We've only got 5 points then. I mean, the great infrastructure is really good. That's going to help us out a lot in the long run, and we have 1 national repair to start with, which is quite good. What else do we have? We can pick specific things if we want. House size limit is actually quite good as well. That's only 1 point. The blue dust mines is very good as well. Does mineral rich do? I've seen some of these on different territories and things before. Third planet has lakes of frozen tetraliminal, extra security effectiveness. Bean counters. The income would be nice, but that's everything like all at once. I think what I want to do, tactical tradition would be great, but it kind of uses all my points. I think what we're going to do is we'll grab the great infrastructure. drone hangar is actually pretty useful as well for vassal limit. But I kind of like the arc ship, so that's wealth, house size, and less unrest. Leaves me 2 points to do something else with. Tax collection, fleet strength for the assembly plant. Park is generally kind of useful, helps keep unrest under control. I don't know why some of these are highlighted and some are not. Maybe we've kind of limited how many we can do there for the planet, so that's why they're blocked out. So I think our options are down here. So Nebula, extra defending fleet strength, that's only in that one system. Gas giant, allied attacks on nearby systems. Low gravity moon, extra military skill increase rate, that's pretty good. So if we want to help our guys just be stronger militarily over time, that is probably what we want to do. Might want to look at some of these negatives, just out of curiosity. That's pretty massive, the minus 20% income. Utility ritual, I'm not that interested in. For 2 points, extra diplomatic effectiveness. I'd like to have some benefits kind of like this, but I wanted something more military, but those cost more. So we could just take something like the low gravity moon to get the military skill increase rate. I'm not sure how useful that is necessarily. So what we're starting off with is the great infrastructure. So your home system is blessed with a larger colony and better state of repair than most. We have an arc ship. So arc ships were huge vessels built to ferry large amounts of workers to the burgeoning colonies in the pre-collapse. If you repair this wreck in your system, you will acquire precious living space for your house and your colony. And we've got a low gravity moon. So your colony in your home system is orbited by a low gravity moon whose surface is littered with deep canyons and gigantic mountains, making it an ideal location for combat training. So we have a little bit of combat. We have a way down the road when we have a bunch of cash to massively increase our size limit. And then we can also get this to, this will help give us some other stuff. I think it'll probably be random, whatever we get. All right, so let's go to character. I don't know why it just didn't automatically change all that stuff. So we want, going to be Vlad Dracul. Young, let's see. So we have 5 points here we can play around with as well. Just kind of go for something random. They're often, I think they just randomly give you stuff. We'll just cycle through until I see something that looks kind of appropriate. That's not too bad. Interesting mustache. They're all pretty generic. Not bad. We could kind of live with this. Looks somewhat vampire-y. We can kind of live with that, I think. So, we have 4 points here. I don't know what that's going to do. Administration is our best skill. Okay, so we can actually look and see. So we can actually pay more to make something better. But that costs almost all of my points. Something that's quite good. Actually, I had Brave to start with before. Brave is too expensive. Extra military and security, that's quite nice. I had that with the character we started with before. I'd have to get something negative to sort of counteract that. So if I was going to do that, what else costs a lot? Friendly, extra diplomacy, honorable, also decent, although it does give me a big hit to security. Energetic. Only cost me 1. Extra action. That's pretty good. Although initially, so in order to do stuff with your character on your turn, you need to have action points, but you also need to have free family members to do stuff. So we could give a bit of a buff. Like if I was going to choose, I would like to have administration up, probably. Everything else, I just want to make sure everything's at least average. Nothing starts less. We could make something less, but you know, being good across the board's decent. Although security early on really isn't that important. So I could go ahead and take a security loss in exchange for... Wait, what have you done? Okay, now I have to check everything again. Administration average. Military average. Diplomacy average. Diplomacy will help us kind of keep things under control with our own vassals and stuff. And then security, poor. Is that changing? Yes, that's changing. Okay. So then if I go to military, why is it on poor? I guess it just does everything. So I can't choose one being weak in exchange for another one being good. It looks like. So if I do good, that means it's good everywhere, right? Yeah, that's what it looks like. So that's improving my stats just across the board. Which isn't bad. And then we could get energetic as well, just to kind of finish things off. Is there anything else for a point? Probably not. Tribal can cause problems. If we do energetic, I could get some negative stuff as well in order to get some points. Is there anything that I would like? Dull does give me more administration and technology at the cost of diplomacy, and gives me points, so that's actually not bad. Intelligent would be nice, but that costs a whole 8. Just gives me bonuses across the board. I could get rid of energetic and take dull. Basically meaning he's sort of a admin and tech junkie. Doesn't necessarily mean he's dumb. And then we can also take intelligent and get just a whole bunch of buffs across the board. I don't know if this is inheritable. I know things like this in Crusader Kings can often be inheritable. I don't think that is. Different events might come up, so we kind of see other people who are smart, we have a good opinion of. People who are stupid, we don't really like or get along with. If we're dull, same kind of thing. Dull's opposite of charming, so we're going to bounce off charming people. Charm people bounce off of us. I think that's an okay thing. So we have really good stats to start with. We're going to be even better across the board to start with, and then we're prioritizing admin and tech over diplomacy. I think that works. Okay, so here, generate a random family, generate a balanced family, generate a random character. Your current family is small, which means the start of the game will be difficult. Recommend you add more characters. Yes, so we definitely need more characters. So what do we have here? Add a parent, add a child, add a spouse. We could not be married initially, and that would give me a marriage option into someone. So that might be a good way to go. If I just do random, well, let's do like a balanced family and see what we have. So that gives me a mother. I can't see stats necessarily. I think it's showing me the best stat. Child of Andy. So that's my sister, me. So why am I in charge if she's older? Oh, she married to a foreign baron. Okay, so she got married off, and that's why. I think this would be okay. So it does have us married to start with. We've got some kids who are technology. So they did pick up dull. Yeah, so you could really go like crazy and have like you could create your entire family. I feel like that's a bit excessive for the amount of time it would take to do all that stuff. Yeah, I think this is okay. Let's go ahead and start. Are you sure? So we can't save the other game, but I'm not getting um, actual benefit from keeping the game going. It's just sort of was practice, and then I'm not even getting the achievements and stuff. So uh, that's too bad we can't have more than one save going at a time. But yeah, we'll jump in and see. So we'll play this a little bit, just to kind of show what the game is like, and I might come back and do sort of checkups and stuff. I was kind of curious with the family creation and stuff, how things are going to go. Initially, there'll be a lot of kind of figuring out what in the world is going on and the connections between everybody. Once you kind of have that down, it's a lot easier to get a grasp on and figure out what's going on. All right, so where are we? So we are over here. So we are not anyone's, not part of anyone else's confederation or anything. And we have a decent number of planets, it looks like. So we look at the Dracul Dominion. So first things first, actually let's look at me first. So my stats, we've got administrations. This gives you like how many territories you can have under your control without too many problems. I'm actually over at the moment by one, which isn't a huge thing. Military isn't great at 17. Diplomacy is just kind of okay at 14. Security is pretty good at 23, and tech is very good at 43. So one of the benefits of tech, if you want to see what tech does, is it sort of is going to determine like the chance of people getting sick and stuff. Let me just jump back in here. So right now there's a 2% chance people getting sick a turn. If we try to heal somebody, there's a decent chance of them getting healed. But also gives us tech points, which build up over here, and when this bar is full, you get some kind of a cool event. So these events are actually really, really nice. Unfortunately, it looks like we're kind of, like this isn't the whole galaxy. We might be on the edge here, and it just goes out that way. But that is not, it's better than being in the middle, that's for sure. We have a lot of people around us. Nobody's really allied, though. So what we probably want to do is just kind of figure out the family situation. Look at our home system, which I'm surprised I couldn't name, but it's going to be oh cool. Maybe I could have and I just skipped over it. So we have a variety of different things. We can look at our family members here and assign council members so that whatever their stats are going to add to mine to give us the effective stats. So we might be okay once we do that. We might buff it up here. Tech can give you additional vassal space, and so can administration, which is why administration is really good. Administration is going to help you get additional cash coming in. The military is going to help you build up your military over time, have a stronger military. Diplomacy affects whether people who are your vassals like you or not, which affects whether they're going to rebel against you. Security is sort of discovering other people's secrets and keeping your own secrets. And then, of course, we looked at technology. So what do we want as a priority? Let's take a look. I don't have a way to look at my family tree for some reason. There we go. Let's take a look at the family tree. So, where am I? I am here. So my mother is around, and this doesn't necessarily mean that they're in my family that I can like order around. They might be somewhere else. So kind of the flag is going to show where people are. So like here, my brother-in-law and my sister are both part of the Murphy planets and the Compton Alliance. Looks like everybody else is in, the kids are fine. So where are the Murphy planets? And then I can look and see potentially where my parents are from. Father-in-law. So yeah, it's like I took over because my father died. So the Murphy planets, where are the Murphy planets? Isn't it part of the Benjamin Guild, didn't it say? Nope, some kind of guild. Has to be like right. Okay, so part of the Murphy. Yeah, they're part of the Compton Alliance and the Murphy planet, so they're actually pretty far from me initially. Later on, that's not going to be too far away. We have a big faction here. So the Nixon sector right next to me is a little concerning. We've got a few little small forces. Keith Alliance, there's no colonies there. So they must have, they're probably based out there, would be my guess. Esperanza colonies. We can kind of look here, it'll show how many systems. They've got 4. Lawrence Confederation, they've got 4, although we can't see everything. Benjamin Guild. So the Schmidt Kingdom is under the Benjamin Guild. We're under nobody. We're an independent force. That does mean that we're probably quite a bit weaker than some of these larger ones, but we should probably be stronger than the Esperanza colonies. I want to look at like where we're connected to stuff. So we could advance out into here, but most likely we'd be advancing into these territories. A little risky having our capital so close. Anyway, let's take a look. Let me quickly take a look at our home planet, because we did pay a bunch of extra points for our home planet to be better off than a lot of the others. So we've got 6 wealth coming in. So we have the main settlement. We have a hidden hangar. So it's unknown if this was once a pirate base, a concealed Nova Corps hangar, or a secret interstellar authority staging post. Across its lifetime, it may have been all 3. So less chance of losing surprise when we join an attack. So we're more likely to surprise people if we attack suddenly. Some extra wealth and extra bonuses to all the scores. That's very, very good. We have the Interstellar Authority Outpost, so increased effectiveness to quell unrest up to 3 spaces away. Very nice. So we can still repair the data center for more admin, scrap processing for military and wealth. An ore mine will give us wealth and military replenishment. The arc ship that we put on there, so wealth, less unrest, more house size. Convict ship helps us spread dissent, something I never really did playing before. The incinerator, pretty generic, helps me cover up a secret, not really that useful. Ship fabricator plant, the wealth is nice, helping rebuild our fleet. If we fight, we have to rebuild our armies. And then the drone hangar, very, very good, also giving us more vassal limit. And a vassal could be an individual system, but it also could be a whole alliance. So if you're the head of a faction that has multiple forces within it, so multiple like vassals inside, you are called an archon. So like here, whoever's in charge of the Yang or the Nixon sector is the overall, they're going to be an archon. I don't know if I can even see. Yeah, archon, Covit, Nixon. Down here, the Yang sector is underneath. I don't have any info on them, so I can't actually look. Yeah, they're too far away. Probably at this point I don't know enough about them to get that information. So if you just have like a smaller system, a smaller alliance, kind of like I do, you're a duke or duchess, and then each individual planet is controlled by a baron. So if we look at that, baron or baroness. And then keeping them all happy is, of course, important too. So our home system is pretty decent. We don't have a lot of cash to start with. I can't do much there. We've got a lot of people who aren't doing anything. You can be on the council and still do stuff. So our Duke heir will grow up to be a more capable adult if you appoint a guardian for them. Okay, that might be a good option as well. Andy Dracul is not married, so we can always look. That's my mother, because my father died. We need to appoint people to the council. We could have a larger house. It's fine. Too many vassals, that'll change. You can expand your empire repressing or championing the following claims. So Baron Evans's claim to the Nixon sector. So if we want to look, what I probably should do, let's look at me first. Let's look at claims I have. So I have a weak claim to the Dracul Cominion, and I have a strong claim to Okul, the capital. That's it. So when I started with the other guys, I had some like claims outside of my own territory. So somebody inside, so one of the dukes, Oswald Evans. You don't look like an Oswald. Oswald. So if we want to look at Oswald, Oswald has a weak claim to the entire Nixon sector. We could try to push that, but that means going to war against the Nixon sector, and we're definitely not in a position to do that. So initially here, let's just go ahead and assign people to the council. I don't have enough people to fill all the positions, though, and I don't have people who are good at everything. So I'm kind of look and see, this is going to show me what the best stat is. So you're best in military, you're best in admin at 57. You're best in diplomacy, which is 37. So you're also best there. What was your other good stats? Probably we just throw you into tech. So it does cost me a couple to throw people into positions. That's interesting. Why is it showing her being a higher point value? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yes. Admin. Appoint my wife. My wife wants to be on the council anyway, so that's why that icon has appeared. Whoever your spouse is kind of needs to be on the council or they're going to get mad at you. All right. So that puts us, we're fine now for vassals. Just doing that alone, I'm not having any negative consequences because of that. For military, looks like my mom is by far the best. So we go ahead and throw you in there. You're good at diplomacy. That's actually fairly useful. As a priority, we'll just throw everybody in. So my sister-in-law, Melissa, well, she's also very smart. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it is fairly useful to have somebody good for that, because that's going to kind of keep unrests and things under control. If I don't have a full council, I can shift people around without a problem. Once it's full, I have to like fire or replace people, which pisses them off. But if I have enough spots, I can just kind of shift people between. But if it's full, I have to fire somebody, assign a different person in, even if I'm shifting somebody to that position, and it'll make somebody angry. So we could put a tiny little bit of security, but I don't think really that's really worth it. I think we're better off just throwing you into tech. Fortunately, other people are better potentially at that, but having the higher administration is more important. So my brother, actually, so my younger brother, Antronig, a very odd name. All right. Yeah, actually, so a lot of us have the characteristic of being intelligent. So I have it. My mother has it. My sister has it. My brother has it. So maybe it is inheritable. Although my wife had it anyway. So my wife is also fickle. So has a few problems. And she's dull. So just like me, that's fine. So just kind of more tech and stuff. I don't necessarily know as far as the kids will go. Nephew with intelligent. Like, what is going to carry on once we get to the kids? All right. So I've run out of people to assign. I can't do anything with the kids. So the Duke heir here, unfortunately, he is already fickle and dull. Well, dull's not that bad. Stats we're not going to see till later. Then we have my daughter, who's also a rule breaker and dull, but she also got intelligent. So that's potentially decent. And we have Bird, my nephew. So once people are born, I can actually give them names. Now, I don't know that I can actually change names on people, but we might want to do that at some point. So there's a variety of things we can do. People who are on the council can still do stuff. I have a little bit of points left that we can assign. As far as marriages go, there's only my mother, which isn't really that big a deal. We could maybe bring in somebody useful. If we can bring in somebody with security skill, that would be nice, but I don't have enough actions, probably, to get her a marriage. So if we take a look, if I wanted to arrange a marriage, yeah, it depends on the relationship. Some people, it's less expensive action-wise to arrange a marriage. Her, it's 5. So for my heir, now I can just train once people are adults, and we can train in different stats. So I can even train myself, because the Empire stats are my stats plus the stats of whatever counselor for that. So if my stats go up, it helps the entire Empire, or Dominion in my case. So that's something I could just do, would just be to have somebody training me. Assigning medical care to somebody is also good. Trying to get unrest under control with someone is an action. We could also try to improve someone's opinion of me. The people you like, you're less likely to screw over, basically. Let's take a look. Unrest, 61 there is a bit high. 71 is very high. So we can kind of look at each individuals here. So unrelated to me, we've got various different barons. Keeping that under control might be good. If we want to get more detail, I can always look at the rebellion risk, like why it's going up. So they don't have a lot of space. We're not a legitimate ruler. He's a credible but not legitimate ruler. Opinion. So the more I'm liked, the less it's going to affect. Yeah, so that's going up by 2 a turn. I can assign somebody there to kind of shut that down. I don't know how much it's going to cost if I was appointing a guardian. Guardian will be responsible for mentoring and raising your son. He'll acquire skills that mirror the guardian's strength, and his behavior may also be molded by the guardian. The guardian will be pleased that we trust them with our kid member. I've got enough to do this. I'm curious who we could do this to. Members of your house are eligible to be a guardian, are yourself or one of your council members. Okay. Another ruler may also accept to become the guardian because I am a ruler. So if I wanted to go more military focused, having my mom raise him would be a good option. We could send him off. It would probably improve relations. So we could help improve relations with the Nixon sector. So what are you good at? You're decent in military. You're mostly a diplomat. You are brave, humble, but also vengeful. Yeah, interesting. So Benjamin, that's somebody else. Further up, I think, was the Benjamin Guild. You're much more tech-focused, friendly, humble, rule breaker. A lot of barons. If I'm going to do this, I'd want to have another ruler. So Archon or Duke or Duchess is what we'd want to do. Having my mother do it, I think, would be a good choice. Just, that would go really hardcore on military. She's also honorable, so more likely to pick that up. What is my son's? So he's a rule breaker and dull. Or is that not rule breaker? That's fickle and dull. Fickle's unfortunate. I'm kind of leaning towards having this Archon because that would lean more towards like diplomacy and maybe military. Be a nice mix, but he's also brave, which would pick that up. That would help a lot. If I could get brave and humble, that would be good. Yeah, let's ask him. There's no guarantee he'll agree. Okay, he is accepting. All right. So his opinion of me is kind of okay. We could always try to work on that. So I'm pretty much out of action points. With one, there's really nothing I can do. If I was going to do something else, I would probably try to quell unrest up here, but that costs 2. And that just kind of helps the opinion go down. We sort of send in the shock troops and the riot police to keep things under control so things don't go too crazy. So what do we have? People who aren't doing anything, but I don't have the points to assign them to do anything. We've got the person we can marry off. We don't have somebody in security. We can try to marry somebody in for that. We could have more kids in the family. That would be fine. That's something I should look at. I think I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to have children. Try for child. Yeah, I guess we'll do that. You have to actually give permission to people to have a child, so that's something to kind of keep an eye out for. I think it starts as a default of yes, you can have one whenever people get married, and then after that you have to approve it, and they'll usually ask. But in this case, yeah, let's go ahead and try because we have the room in the house, which we can kind of see. We're only at 8 family members, and we can have a maximum of 13. The more money we have, the more room we have for people, all that kind of good stuff. Doesn't affect vassals, just sort of family members that you can have in, and they don't have to be directly blood related to you. You can bring people in from outside your family, and you sort of give them your family name, and they sort of are adopted into the family. All right, let's go ahead and hit end turn here. Nothing too crazy should happen. So the Archon wants my vassalage. If I do that, so I'll become part of the Nixon sector. I don't really want to do that. I don't want to be under somebody else. It would be a big benefit to him. It's not really that much of a benefit to me. He'd give me 25 cash. That's not really that great. He would give me territories, though, potentially. So he might give me Alcura or Diadem. Diadem's way out here. I am sort of stuck here. This would give me an option to sort of expand out another direction. His capital's there, though, so this is a good spot to take. If I was going to do it, I would ask for Alcura, even though that puts me over my limit. Well, actually, it wouldn't now. I'm at 4 out of 5 now that we've got everybody set up with the council. So I could do that. I'd be under him, but eventually I'd have to break out from under him, and I can't eat other people in the meantime. I'm going to refuse. Oh, that's going to irritate him. But I might, like, if you gave me a good enough deal, I might do it. So Sir Van Callahan. So one of my, actually, you're not even a baron. So just part of a particular family, part of House Callahan. Wants marriage between Admiral Andy Dracul, so my mother, and Jacques Callahan. So he's kind of an older guy. He's really, really good at administration. If I brought him in, I would want to replace the head of administration because that's really, really good at 87. So I could do that. He would join in the family. I could then put him on the council. That's not bad, although I mainly need somebody in security, but we could swap somebody from admin to security, even if it's not that great. That's really, really good score. What is my current... So that's my wife at 49. So that's a big improvement. And if I moved over, I'd be 15 in security, which isn't that great. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So Andy Dracul married. The thing that does get kind of confusing is that the names will change. So once he marries in, he becomes a Dracul. I wish it would show like hyphenated or something to kind of see where people were from. You have to kind of look at the family tree to see if you want to backtrack that stuff. All right, so here we've got a few updates. So Lady Tanya Livingston and Stephen Crosby have formed an alliance. Distant relative. Okay, they're all inside my empire. So you're from House Livingston, you're from House Crosby. Yeah, that's fine. I was kind of worried about like if somebody marries into a different family that's an enemy adjacent to me, something like that. And then here, Evans and Osborne have formed an alliance through so House Evans and House Osborne. So just kind of marriages inside the empire. That's fine. No need to be concerned. Something to take a look at here while I'm looking at it is military capacity. So this is me and then my various different... Actually, why are you here? I guess you're here because you're adjacent to me. So you're there, you're there. It's not showing Marak and Minkar, though. So I am currently at 80 ships out of 96 capacity. It looks like it's probably pretty even. So we've got, I think it's like bombers, interceptors, and frigates. So we're currently, I think it'll slowly kind of build up over time to whatever your max capacity is, and that's dictated by your military score. So they're almost max, but they're only at 15. Almost maxed, only at 14. Yeah, she's pretty strong over there at Mirak, but she's actually the leader of this entire group. So she can field about 35. If I have my allies come in with me, we can field a lot more than that if I wanted to start messing with her. That's definitely an option. I think first things first. Gonna have to get a hold on like where people are inside my empire and the names of the different territories and stuff. What I'm gonna do, because we have him, let's go ahead and just move my wife to be the head of security, unless she's better than somebody else. Military, you're not better. Diplomacy, you're definitely not better. When it comes to tech, 21, 20. Yeah, we'll just move you to security. That's fine. So we just change her. She doesn't get irritated. There's no problem with that. And then I will go ahead and appoint my stepfather to be the head of the administration. Hey, I got an achievement. So now we could actually have up to 6 vassals. And the higher the admin, the more cash we've got coming in. And the happier we are, the more kind of value we get from people. So you can kind of see our capital system bonus plus 54%, vassal tax 27%, 2 extra vassals there. I think we've got, bottom there, technology, 1 extra vassal from that. Not very effective on security. Public opinion is positive everywhere there. That's good. Okay, yeah, overall not terrible. I do want to be fairly strong because I'm not sure about this guy, the Nixon sector. Unfortunately, the Archon himself is right here. It's not some secondary group that I could break away. And he does have my son, so I don't really want to fight him at all or mess with him at the moment. I want to be on his good side. So he raised taxes. That's something else we could do. Levy to fine, sure. So I think we start at low taxes. So here, scout new house members. Yeah, so we're on low. I could go to medium. Might irritate people a little bit. But I think it's worth it to start getting some cash to come in because we can start upgrading buildings, and most of them cost at least 30, most of them are 60 or higher. So let's increase taxes, which might tick people off. Then Mirak has a bit of an issue here. Let's go ahead and start looking at quelling unrest. My mother's very effective at that because it's military score that affects that. So sending in the riot troops. So now it's going to be minus 8.3 per turn, but I think it's also got the plus. So with everything calculated out, it'll be a minus 11.5. If we built more living space here, some of those concerns would go away. So that's something we could look at as well. But building up my capital is probably my best option. This is a little high. All right, who do we have available? Quite a few people. So essentially, we have an administrator free. This is really good at helping me build stuff. So if I want to build something, we want an administrator to do it. If I want to make people happy with me, we can send off someone good in diplomacy. If we want to set up a spy network, somebody's good at spying, although she's not that great. Technology is good for healing people, so if you need someone who needs to be healed, tech is going to do that. Also training. So we could set up training for myself. I'm generally pretty good, although military could definitely be better. What I'm going to do here initially, let's go ahead and start trying to improve relations with this guy so he's less likely to want to mess with me. Send my sister-in-law off to do that. So her being there will improve his opinion by plus 14 as long as it's active, so just going to keep going and going. If I have anybody inside my empire with a really negative view of me, we might want to look at that as well. It's pretty not great for most of them. It should go up because of my diplomacy score, so it should be going up over time a little bit. I have a couple more things we can do. I don't think I have enough money to repair anything. No, we need at least 60 to repair any stuff on my homeworld. So what I'll do is, let's start doing some training. Let's train in military. And it looks like they're better. I think it calculates whatever the skill is and tech together somehow to kind of give you an average. Because I've had people who are like really, really good at military and try to train in military, and they're just not good at it at all. So I think the technology comes into it as well. So let's go ahead and have my brother do a little bit of training for me in military. So I'm at 18. He's actually less, but he's training me in military. So I'm going to be gaining 0.29 military skill per turn. If somebody's really, really good, I've seen it up to like 0.8 a turn. So it's not even like you're getting 1 point. It's something kind of in the long term that you can kind of do. Just leave him doing that. If he's got nothing else to do, it's worth doing. Check on my fleet. I could build up my fleet a bit. So the fleet situation, so I'm getting 0.05 bombers, 0.03 interceptors, and 0.18 frigates a turn. Let's go ahead and rebuild the fleet. So that's going to give me a big buff, 49% replenishment rate to the fleet. So that's going to help me even if I don't have losses. It's just kind of nice to keep pushing that up so we're as close to maximum as possible. So I'm just kind of doing some really minor things here initially, nothing too major. Let's go ahead and hit. I want to be ready so if somebody does come after me, I can do something about it. So Archon Kovit Nixon gave Kajam to Duke Jules Keith in return for vassalage. So that particular person just swapped sides and joined. Your son accompanies you to a power bout. Look, he cries, pointing to one of the contestants in the monitor. Her energy readings are off the charts. I've only ever seen that in an ancient tech. Cool. That is odd, you frown. Equipment that powerful isn't permitted in power bouts. So this isn't my heir. No, it is the heir. Yeah, so it's kind of odd he's an Edisich, so maybe I'm visiting or something. So if I do this, I get a little bit of respect from everybody. My heir likes me more. +4 unrest on Akul. Akul is my home, but, you know, let's go ahead and do the right thing. The crowd boos. They came for the sport, it seems, not the regulations. Nonetheless, word of your principled stance travels. So that's sort of a general thing to make it so that you're a bit more respected depending on your actions and things. You can change event pop-ups to fit your personal preference. Yeah, I don't care. I don't show in the same place. I want to move them around. And all that stuff. Yeah, whatever. So nothing inside my empire. So once we have people doing stuff, they're just going to keep doing it unless I order them to stop. So I've got a lot of action points, not a lot of people available. So my wife is the only one not doing anything. She's mainly an administrator. We probably want her building something. I just don't have the cash for it right now. Well, I might have cash for something somewhere else, not my capital. There are some really cheap buildings you can build that only cost 30. Just going to quickly look and see if there's anything I can afford. Nope, All right, yeah, next turn we can start building something. In the meantime, I don't know what I want you to do. There's nothing really that important for you to do at this point. We could... Oh, you have like 0 diplomacy. Yeah, I don't have anything that great that I can do with you. Definitely not going to fight the Nixon sector anytime soon, although that's what this sort of gives me the option for. Benjamin Guild up there could be a bit of an issue eventually. They do have a path in at me. So really, we've got the Esparza colonies are kind of like who I'm looking at, who I'd like to eat, potentially. But the Nixon sector is also looking at them as someone they would like to eat. And they've got access, we both have access to them. Other than that, I have access to the Benjamin Guild, but not the Lawrence Confederation. I'm not even sure there's a territory in there. It might just be that I don't have any spying or information on them, or their systems might be further out. I just can't see them yet. What do we want to do? I could kind of take a look. If I went to you and said, you're going to be my vassal, she would accept if I threaten her. So she would join up immediately if I threaten. Does mean her and all of her subsidiary people would be very upset with me. So she would join the Dominion and be sort of a sub-ruler. I think that's worth doing, actually. It does mean people might not like me as much. She definitely won't like me. But yeah, let's threaten her. Okay. So we are now a league, so I'm now an Archon. She's going to be very unhappy with me. Probably all of them will be very unhappy with me. I want to get her happy with me if possible. I don't know that we can do much to make her like me more. Yeah, my wife could do it, but she's not very good at it. I do want the Archon to like me. Could let Marak go. Or just stop training me in military. I mean, that's not that big a deal. Yeah, let's do that. So that's going to improve her opinion of me by 10 every turn, which will hopefully stop her from rebelling or doing anything crazy. We do have a military advantage over here, but not by a lot. So that's a good step. And now we can actually see into here, into the Lawrence Confederation. So yeah, it would be another thing like if we can eat them and move our way up. That's probably what we want to do in the long run. What happened over here? My sister. Oh yeah, right. My sister's over here. So we have information on them because my sister's there. I think that was one thing. Like when I was playing from the tutorial, after a little while, I had like relatives everywhere. So I got information from pretty much everywhere. I just kind of knew what was going on and knew where things were. But it seemed like it was always expanding and just kept expanding and expanding and expanding. So just out of curiosity. So the goal for the game is for your house to become a great house that dominates half the galaxy. To achieve this at the end of your turn, you must control a minimum number of systems, either directly in your faction or indirectly through a league. You'll lose the game if we're no longer a leading house. So we control 9 systems out of 58 required, 115 total. My score just went down, which is weird because I just added a whole separate part of my empire there. Eventually we'd like them to be happy with me. It would be nice if I could have married in to grab some territory, but I don't have anybody eligible till our kids come of age. And unfortunately, my kid is my kid's name. Neville. I guess Neville's not that bad. It makes me think of, what was the book? There was a couple movies made of it. Omega Man was a variation of it, and then the other one is the Will Smith movie. I Am Legend, yeah. So the main character in I Am Legend is Neville. So that sort of actually kind of makes sense. That's an interesting connection there. And then my daughter is Mistress Lisette. How nice. Nephew, yeah, you can name him whatever you want. Bird is pretty goofy. Yeah, I don't have a lot left to do. My wife still doesn't have an assignment, but there really isn't much I can do with her. Is there anything like super urgent that needs to be done? Unrest-wise, I mean, it's still not great here. I don't know how effective she'd be at quelling unrest. Not terrible. We could do that for a turn, I suppose. And then I'll swap her out next turn once I have some cash and we can build up something on our homeworld. The question is going to be what? Administration is going to get me more cash and potentially more people I can add to the empire. So we're fine there. Military could be good, plus the wealth. Military replenishment, that's too expensive. So we've only got the 60. Convict ship to spread descent, eh. Incinerator cover up secret, eh. Rebuild fleet, we are doing that, plus wealth. That's not too bad. I probably would just grab maybe the scrap processing plant for the military bonus and wealth, because we do want to have a decent military kind of going forward. So I think we'll go ahead and end it there. Actually, so a decent start. We set everything up, got everything going, and I already have my first big vassal. So we are now an Archon. We have control over a little chunk, very little chunk of the galaxy. I feel like the Nixon sector is going to be a problem eventually, but if I can cut them off... Actually, do you have access? He does have access out this way to something. So I'm hoping like he'll expand that direction. Go that way. I'll expand up into this corner. That's kind of my initial plan. And we'll kind of see how things go. Sometimes these other little planets, usually only if there's a name really obvious once you're zoomed out, are derelict colonies that you can actually rebuild, but it does cost quite a bit, and they start from pretty much nothing. A little hard to build up, but they're not too bad. All right, this has been a bit of, what is this called? It's Star something. Star Dynasties. That's what it is. So I've been Disturbing Puppet. Thanks for coming by. Hopefully I'll see you next time. I might check in on this as well down the road as I progressed, depending on if people are interested in the video or not. All right, until then, I will see you. Have a good one.